Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Behind the Product. Today we are with Patrick Tu, co-founder and CEO of Dayta. Patrick had always been interested in supporting people and businesses using AI to do it smartly. In 2017, him and his co-founder co-founded an educational software which was using AI to calculate your learning path and predict your score. But because people were more interested into the AI solution itself and not really the educational part, they pivoted to fit the market. So they decided to focus on helping businesses with AI. So in 2018, they launched Dayta, a smart retail analytics platform. So it's a cloud-based solution. So in the contrary of all the existing, AI solution for retail, they do not provide you any hardware. They connect to the existing, camera, CCTV infrastructure that you already have in your retail shop in order to analyze that and predict, how many people are visiting your shop, what are the type of those people, what are their behavior and everything. So it's very interesting because you don't need to engage a lot of capex, a lot of investment as a business owner to actually use data. So without any further ado, let's explore how Dayta was built, and let's welcome Patrick.
I'm Patrick, the CEO and co-founder of Dayta. We founded Dayta in 2018 May, so it's about 3.5 years from now. The day we start Dayta is because we see that in the market, especially in the Hong Kong market, everybody is talking about AI, talking about data analytics, but there's not enough people, specialties to help you to do that. So we decide to, found Dayta to help, multinational companies, we help startups, we help the Hong Kong government as well. We help them to build the AI models or, AI algorithms that they need. So we are pretty much an AI solution house, I would say, in the beginning. And we've been doing that for around half year, somewhere there. That until one day we participate LVMH, LVMH Group Innovation Challenge. And we won the competition by an idea that we utilize camera through computer vision, which is some sort of AI technology, computer vision trying to recognize how their customers behave in their stores and in their events. And that idea allowed LVMH to collect customer-related data to help them to evaluate, what's going on in the exhibition, what's going on in the stores, where do the people go, what kind of people, different age and gender, where do they spend their time, what's their behavior. So all these data help them to better evaluate their marketing input and their strategies. So that idea, we kind of like, after we won the competition, we start to realize, well, if somebody like LVMH needs something like this, probably all other retailers or other people in the space will need a similar solution. So we start to think about what should we do? Should we build our own product? Should we build our own kind of platform to handle all this pain point? So we did some market research. We kind of like went to different customers as well. We asked what they truly need as well, and we find out firstly they want something that is very low in terms of deployment footprint. A lot of these sort of solution, what we call is like retail analytics solution. There's nothing new in the market. There's a lot of people doing similar things with sensors or even with cameras, but all of them they required you to purchase their specific hardwares and install them in a way that they have you to. You have to install in a specific angle, have in a specific place. So that involves a lot of cabling, installation, integration that a normal retailers they don't want to afford. Imagine if a shop you have everything there and suddenly it's telling you that you need 2 weeks of time to do all the decoration again, you need a lot of like renovation. It's not possible. So that's the first pain point. So we decided, to address this pain point, we built something on cloud. We built something that is capable to connect with any cameras that's already inside the shop. So right now, our solution, we have our platform Cyclops. So Cyclops is the platform that we can connect with any IP cameras. So as long as the cameras can be connected to the internet, we can connect with it and we can stream the video to our cloud server and we do all the processing up there. So we add no burden to any of your existing structure, infrastructures. So we don't add cameras, we don't add computing burden, we don't do anything on your site. Simply just stream it to our cloud and it's all done. And so we do everything up there. So that's the product, the initial stage of the product. And right after we start doing this, we're starting to realize, getting the data is good. Our customers want the data, but eventually we found that, the customers also have a pain point, which is they probably don't know how to make a good use of the data. A lot of them is just retailers, operators. They are not data scientists. They don't have the enough knowledge or capability to handle the data. So we now is in a stage where we are pivoting, not pivoting, but we're like improving our solution in the sense that we through AI, we through our own modeling, we try to come up with something more in depth. We instead of telling you that, okay, you have like 500 people coming into your shop today, I probably would tell you that, okay, today you're actually doing better than last week by say 10%. And the reason behind is that, I find out A, B, and C. I probably say, just for example, I find out your target audience is much fitter than your product line today for some reason. Probably your mall is making a marketing campaign that benefits your shop, something like that. So we do a little bit more. We give out insights, we give out recommendations that they actually can use it to make better data-driven decisions, like after all. So that's how we keep on evolving the product, from a solution-based house, and then we listen to the market, we hear what our customers want, and then we eventually develop to what we have right now.
Yeah, when you say you are like a AI house, you are basically like a service company developing some AI solution for some clients.
Correct.
And one day you participate to that LVMH contest and you decided to make the switch.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, and so when you made the switch, how was the switch like from going to like a service business to a product business? How did you handle that?
Yeah, I would say the very first obstacle you will face is that it's all about the cash flow. Because if we are doing project basis, we are rich in cash because we just, we do every project for the upfront project basis. The project itself is lucrative as well. So we have enough cash. We have enough cash to sustain as well. So everything is all good. But one reason why I want to switch is also because the whole project basis business model is not scalable. If I have to handle one project, I need a team. If I had to handle two projects, I need two teams. So I need more spaces, more manpower, and I need to keep on finding new projects as well. Because right after I finish this project, there's nothing left. So I have to go for a new project. I have to like BD a new project as well. That's why we decided to go with a product. But going to the product also means that we need some time to develop a product. So within that period of time, we are basically not making any money.
Yeah, sure.
We don't. Yeah,
you just
we don't have
the product.
Yeah, correct. So luckily we have the saving when we are doing the projects for our customers. We have some savings. We have some investment as well. So those resources sustain us until we have the product. And now the product is running out. We are making a pretty good sales in Hong Kong. So the product itself is helping us to make enough money to sustain the company.
Okay. Cool. And when so how long did it took you to make that switch from like being a purely service company to a purely product company?
I would say, at the point where we decide to go to the product basis instead of like project basis, we stopped, getting new deals. But we still have a lot on hand, like it's not a sharp cut that we and everything right there. So I would say we decide to go on, move on to the product side. I would say it's around mid 2019, but it takes around, I think it goes to around like 2020, early 2020, where we finally get rid of every project on hand that we can eventually focus on our own product. And we put another 6 months to 8 months around, on the product development. So we have the product launch late 2020. So, if you're talking about the whole process, it's around 1 year and a little bit more, somewhere there.
Okay. And at the beginning, what got you into AI? At the very beginning, how did you come with the idea of like launching a design house for AI?
Sure. So it has to be a little bit longer story. I know a long time ago, when I'm in my college, where I think it's for like a year 3 study, where I was also in a tutorial center in Hong Kong. I teach, kids, secondary school kids. So I also met a few same age, people around that we also teach in the tutorial center, and we keep teaching there, and then we feel like, okay, this is something that we want to do. We really enjoy doing education back then. So it lasts for a year until we're like year 4, where it's also a point that we are graduating soon. So we're starting to, think about, okay, what we want to do after we graduate. And all 4 of us, back then there's 4 of us, we kind of think that, okay, this is something we want to do. The education is something we want to do. But by purely teaching by ourselves, it's something that is not scalable. And that's also some pain point, for us, as a tutor, because, tutor, you have, limited time.
Yeah.
You have only time for, say eight classmates, per class.
Yeah.
So you can calculate how much you can earn. There's no scalability at all. So we try to figure out, why don't we try to build this into an online education platform where everybody can go online and learn there. So it's around like 4 or 5 years ago. So we also, look into the market. There's a lot of successful online education platform in the States, in China, in Europe as well. But there's nothing in Hong Kong back then on that. So we decided to go on that field. So we just built the platform. We just start on to playing around on the education field. Unfortunately, in Hong Kong, it's much more difficult than we thought to push the education idea. The market is pretty slow, not mature enough to move on to online. But we tried. So how we tried is that we tried to put into some elements into the idea to make it a little bit more fancier. So one element is the AI element. So that's the point of time where I recruit my current co-founder and CTO, my partner, into that education idea. He self-studied a lot of AI. He loves AI a lot. He studied himself, how to work around with the AI algorithms. So I put him in and I say, can you try to put in some AI idea into the education idea and make it fancier so that we can raise enough funds, we can have enough users. So we come up with several ideas like a personalized AI learning algorithms that, the AI help you to measure how you learn. We have some kind of different modeling to help you to predict, what's your score, how will you perform, we have all that stuff. And we take the whole idea and we go and to pitch the investors in Hong Kong, back then. And, on the good side, everybody likes it. On the back side, everybody only likes the AI part of it. So nobody likes the education part of it, but everybody's saying, oh, your AI part is pretty fancy. I like the AI part of your company. I like how you build AI solution. And eventually, one of the investor, he offered saying that, if you, focus on AI development, I can invest in you and you guys can build a pretty good AI company. So after some serious consideration, we think that, okay, that's actually pretty good timing. Hong Kong is pretty educated in the AI sector. People are willing to adopt it. People was open to it at least. So we decided, okay, we will just go into the AI field and we start the company. But that's right after we graduate. So we are still very young. We are... I would say we don't have enough experience in the market as well. So we decided instead of building our own solution, just blindly think about some solution and then try to build as a product, we decided to go into AI house. Because as an AI house, we can listen to the market feedback. We can understand who will really pay for the AI solution. So that's how we decided to start our own company. So that's how it started, and then eventually it pivoted to a product.
Okay. And tell us a bit about the first product that you launched on the market right after winning that contest with the LVMH. Tell us a bit how it was, what it was doing, what was good, what was bad. Just tell us the truth about that first version of the product.
Correct. Sorry, what was the question again?
Tell us a bit the truth about the first version of the product that you guys launched. I want to understand how was the first version of Dayta looking like, how it was looking like.
Okay, so first version I would say is usable. So it's nothing fancy at the front. So it performs every function that we need it to be performing.
What were the functions that you needed to perform on the first version?
Okay, so yeah, our first product, it's the same idea. So we connect with the cameras and then we do the analysis, right? So that product, it serves the purpose that it can connect with the camera, it can get the data, and it can show you the data. That's it. So
Which kind of data that
getting
you were getting? Number of like people coming and stuff like that?
Yeah, correct. So the number of people coming into your shop, their age, their gender, how long do they spend in your shop. So we are able to get all this data, but we are demonstrating it in a very straightforward way. So we have one page, and then the page just showing you the data. So for the users, it's very not user friendly. You can't compare the data. You can't generate graphs. You can't fill it in any way that you want. Basically, there's only one way that you can fill it.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's just a data acquisition. I would say we are able to get you the data, but nothing else. So yeah.
Okay, so only getting the data. And do you have like some customer paying for it? LVMH was paying for that?
Yeah. LVMH is paying for that. We actually have a lot more, more than we thought that is paying for that. But of course, they have been giving us, feedbacks. They're saying that I know you're a startup. I know you won't be perfect. The whole thing. I'm getting things that I need right now, but I need you to help me to make the product better so I can get them easier, something like that. So they give us comments on the front end, comment on the flow of the whole product. Some comment on the back as well. How we can help them to connect the cameras easier. There's a lot of work initially because we don't know the infrastructure too much. We don't understand them too much. So it's a lot of like work, but now we streamline the whole process, make the things easier for them. So, just for your reference, if you want to use our platform, just by connecting your camera to our platform, it just probably take you like 30 seconds to 1 minute. So it's like real quick.
Okay. So yeah, in terms of UX, like when your other competitors are like, imposing their own hardware and everything, you guys just say like, yeah, just connect like your camera. It's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Existing camera. And if you don't have just any IP camera will do the job. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, correct.
And maybe talking about your competitors, what are the unfair advantage of Dayta compared to the rest of the market? I assume that the fact that the UX and the fact that they don't need to install camera is one of your unfair. But do you have like any other unfair where you think like you're way better than the competition?
Sure. So apart from the things I mentioned just now about low deployment effort as well as all the things I just mentioned basically, one more thing that I think we are different from them that also help us stand out from the market is that how we design the product and how we want to go forward. I see that a lot of our competitors, they are satisfied with themselves, that they just perform as a data acquisitioner. So I just get you the data I promised and that's it. Because you want the traffic, I give you the traffic. You want the amount like male and female, I just give you the amount of male and female and that's it. They do nothing else. They don't care about how they show this data as well. So some of my competitors, they are actually emailing you the data, just a plain like number, today, like footfall is like 50, that's it. So a lot of them didn't take care too much of the post data acquisition kind of stage, where to us, we feel like we actually want to, AI or data is something that is not that accessible to the public. A lot of people don't know how to use the data. So we are in a way that we want to help our users to be easier to access to this data, easier to use this data. So we've put a lot of effort in how to demonstrate this data, how we also help them to compute and come up with some more, like for example, we do some regression model before they even look into the raw data. So we come up with something that is usable. I'm telling you, say the average male spending in your shop, instead of asking you yourself to have the male number and then have the transaction number and then you calculate yourself. So we do all this for them. So we help them to bridge between a lot of data and don't know how to use these data, help them to bridge it between. And the second thing I would say is that it's also about our mindset on commercializing retail analytics, because a lot of AI company, we see that their mindset is in the sense that they want to keep pushing forward the AI part. They think as an AI company, you need to be very good at the AI side. So they keep trying to come up with very fancy AI models, trying to keep pushing the accuracy of the AI models, but they forget the fact that, the commercial users, they actually need something that's practical. So we see a lot of competitors, they're offering very expensive AI algorithms at a very high accuracy rate, say 99.99%. But to most of my users, they actually don't mind about, it's indifferent for them for say 90% or 95%, not to mention what's the difference between 99%, 99.99%, right? In the commercial sector. So this is one side. The other side is a lot of AI companies, they're trying to analyze too much. They're trying to collect too many data. I saw some of our competitors, they try to tell you whatever your visitors is wearing glasses, whatever a jacket, what kind of color of it, all those data. And my users, they just simply feedback is that they can't handle all this data and they don't know what to use of it. Like if you're telling me 50% of my customers is wearing glasses, so what? What can I do? If I'm not selling glasses, then I have no point to use this data. So we don't focus on just purely just trying to get the most from the AI part, but we try to look into more on the commercial part, more on the data side. We want to build ourselves as a business intelligence company. We help our customers to intelligently use this data to come up with like decisions that can actually help them to make better business decisions.
Yeah. Do you think so? Your product development is very driven by the market demand?
Correct. Yeah. Basically driven by my customers' feedbacks, I would say. So we are very driven by the market.
Yeah. And what's a bit your process to like talk to a customer and like get feedback? And do you think I assume it can play a big role in the growth of your company? This like constant talk with your customer. But what is also like the part where it's like your intuition as an entrepreneur? Would you say that you follow more your guts and your intuition when it comes to product development, or you follow more the feedback from the users?
Well, I would say it's kind of like, it depends, usually, how we get the customer feedback is that, well, we have different stages. We have like pre-sales. So before my customer becomes my customers. So, we usually during the pre-sales meeting, we will also, ask for their comments, by simply presenting this idea to you. What do you think about it? What do you think you also want more from it? So we'll collect these feedbacks. And after we sell the product, after it's landing to our customers, when they start using the product, we will be asking them about the feedbacks as well, because most of the time my customers, they will probably just use with their say first store or like first 2 shops. They won't be like, I have like 20 shops and I go with it right away. So they use with like 1 to 2 shops. So we'll be constantly, meeting with them, hearing their comments, do you like it? When will you start to, put more shops on my platform? Throughout the stage, we will get a lot of feedbacks. So these feedbacks, we will consolidate it. We have like product development cross sales team meeting every week. So the sales people who go out and meet the customers, when they hear the feedbacks from the users, we will consolidate it and we will, we'll share to the product development team. And the product development team, once they got all these feedbacks, like for sure there will be something very nonsense. Customers, they probably want something like very crazy. But we will just tell our like product development team, and they will be team who will be deciding what to be done for the next sprint. They will be seeing how to package as much possible of comments from our customers into the sprint. But of course, as the founder, my partner and I will be based on our experience, kind of like intuitively to see how or what should be included as well. So we'll give our own comments as well. But overall, I would say usually the comments from the customers and the direction that we founders think are somewhat quite aligned, I would say. So that's also probably the reason why we think we have the product market fit, because at least we are building something that market wants. It's just a slight improvements here and there, just to fit their needs more.
Okay. Very interesting. So it's really a mix between the both. That is very important. And talking about your customer, what are your best memories regarding them, like with them, like, I don't know, someone like good stories about your customer. One day you install the solution and like, they were like, whoa, that's magical or whatever. Do you have like cool stories like that to highlight?
Cool stories. I I don't know. Probably I can say, one of my customers, they are very big property groups in Hong Kong. And they have to go with like open tender on their solution. So they have a lot of, well, basically we face a lot of like competitions from very well-known companies in Hong Kong. We face the largest AI company.
Okay.
We also face one of the largest system integrator in Hong Kong. So a few of them, and we all going for the project. And eventually we won the tender. So we won the deal. And after, of course, I'm getting back to my customers, I ask them, why do you like us? What makes you feel like you're picking us? And the comments pretty interesting. First off, they say they like us in the way that we are a startup and they feel like we can offer room for improvement for the product for them, because they feel like if I'm ordering from, say, the largest AI company in the world, if I have any requests, probably they don't, they don't care about them. Yeah, they don't care. They don't twist for you. Same case, applying to them as well. So to us, they feel like, okay, if I need something, I can request, and probably this company will build it for us. So that's the first point. The second point is also that they say we have been listening to them. They say there's a pretty critical point where they feel like the other companies, they're coming to pitch their product, they're coming to sell their product, and that's it. So they come, put down the brochure, I'm telling you what we can do, that's it. But they feel like we, as the team, as the startup, as Data, we are hearing what they want. We're trying to satisfy their needs, and we're like truly listening. And they feel like by listening their needs, that means we can make a good partnership, out of the deal. So that actually becomes one of a very good experience on how we position our company and how we sell our products well in the market. Especially we're dealing with a lot of like large corporates. I can feel like that they are kind of bored and sick of keep off doing businesses with like big like technology company, because it's kind of stuck. But by doing business with startup, if you have a good attitude, if you're willing to listen to them, they're more than happy to offer you business opportunities. And that's how we, that's a pretty interesting thing I saw from my customers, on that deal in particular.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but because like, yeah, it looks like you guys are very customer driven, and also in your market, like if you deal with like big property developer in Hong Kong and stuff like that, even if you have a product, there is like always like a room for like tailor-made. So it looks like you guys are doing like a bit of tailor-made for every of your clients, to truly fit their needs, in terms of like the type of data that they want to get, the frequency. I don't know exactly like what do you tailor for each client?
Oh, well, for example, for the client I just mentioned, they are requesting tailor output. So we export raw data, and then we have automate them to a way that they can review the data in their own way. They have their own template kind of things that how they see the data. And obviously we won't, other solutions, or no other solutions can output in a way that they want. So we do it for them. We automate the whole process. We, API integrations, we just make it happen. So they feel like they're using the same thing. They didn't change anything, but they keep on seeing the things that they want. So they feel comfortable that way. There's a pretty good, interesting one. Apart from that, I would say some of my customers, they are also back then when we calculate the staying time, we calculate the people within the zone and then the amount of people going into the zone. So it's very straightforward. So amount of people coming into the zone, amount of people staying there. When you divide them, then it's just the average staying time. But it comes to a point where if you have a lot of people just passing by this zone, it would dramatically pull down the staying time, right? People would just pass by in those 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and it's pulling down the staying time. So some of our customers, they say, can you try to eliminate, these like people, trying to just capture those who actually stay and they want that data. So we eventually build that for them, and they have very happy with it. They're really, really happy with it. And then they're using that data to really measure and evaluate their whole shop, performance and the operation efficiency as well. So that's something that, fine tuning both on the output, on the data side, or fine tuning on the AI side, on the algorithm side, well, we do that for them.
Okay. Yeah. So it's very like the core of your product doesn't change, but you give like that fine tuning at the end, that little sense of tailor made that make the difference. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your biggest mistake in terms of product development? Because I can assume that. So you said that the product went live like early 2020, like during the whole development, and even now, what are like the biggest mistakes you guys made?
Just by this second, I couldn't think of like a real, a big mistake that we made, but I could like to share
Like
almost mistake that we almost,
okay,
yeah, almost mistake that we made. So in the early stage of the product development stage, we were arguing quite a lot on whether our product should be pure software basis or a hybrid of like software and hardware. Because me as the salesperson, I go out a lot. So I hear a lot of my customers, they saying, oh, well, if you're doing it just based on cloud, everything is on internet, it's not safe. I'm not trusting the internet. I'm not trusting you to connect everything to your cloud. But I trust you if you put a hardware at my store, right? So everything is under control there. Everything is installed, so they feel like it's very secure. So I did hear a lot of feedback from our customers, on that point. And we are a very customer driven product. So well, we start to have some comments and thinking of, why don't we build something kind of like hybrid? So we have something on hardware on the store, and then maybe we have something on the cloud. So we've been discussing a lot on that, and we almost start doing that. And if you start doing that, the specialties, the people you need in the team is different as well.
Yeah.
If you need a hardware solution, then you're completely asking for different people. So eventually, we have been discussing a lot. Like, to be honest, myself personally, I was pretty into the hardware idea. I think having the hardware idea helped me to sell. At least at that point, because almost every of my customers saying that they want hardware. So why don't we build a hardware? But my CTO and my co-founder, CFO as well, he is also one of the designer of the product. So he also handles the product development. So both of them disagree with the idea. They say you have to go with like the software development, because if you go with the hardware, it creates a lot more problem. Because first off, who are going to maintain those hardware? Because we are a startup, it's very difficult to maintain a lot of hardwares. And by also doing hardware, it means you lower your scalability, because if you have hardware, then it's very difficult to deliver outside the region. If you have a customer in Thailand, what should we do? We need to have a partner there helping us to install, helping us to deliver the product, not to mention the maintenance and all that stuff. So it's a lot of work. And doing hardware and software at the same time also use too much of the resources. We as a startup, we don't have enough resources. And we also agree one fact is that doing hardware will limit your product, your product delivery limitation, because with a hardware, it means it's a fixed computing power. So with a hardware, if you have, say, a new algorithms next year, it probably cannot fit into the hardware. Yeah. You need to ship a new hardware. But if you do it on cloud, you will have unlimited like computing power, which means you can do whatever you want. So after quite a lot of discussion, we eventually decided to, okay, we'll just give up every customers that if they require or insist to use hardware, we'll just keep on looking for customers that's okay with software, just cloud basis, no hardware. And eventually, after 2 years, right now when we look back, it's a very perfect decision. Luckily we didn't go into the hardware side, because right now every of my customers, they're happy with the cloud solution. They like it. They don't want the hardware instead. That's something that occupying their space is something that nobody wants. It's old. Cloud is fancy, everything's up there, lightweight. So yeah, that's an almost mistake that I made. But luckily we didn't go into it, and things is all good right now.
Yeah. But that's very smart from you to like restrain yourself to only the customer that wanted software. So you create like a sub market, like inside the market of like retailers that need the AI. You segmented it to like the people that need the software, and you knew that you were good at that, and you focus on that. So it's very, very good from you to have the clarity of mind of taking that decision back then, because that's what makes your strengths now. It's very, very interesting.
Correct. Positioning.
Yeah, sure. And what would be your top 3 tips for entrepreneurs that are about to launch a new product on the market, launch a new company? like the three best tips that comes on top of your mind.
I would say my very first tip, which is also the most important one, is that don't try to build the product until it's, or I'll say, don't try to build a perfect product. Just, people talk about MVP. I think it's really good. Try to build an MVP that is usable enough that you can demonstrate to your customers and take it out to the market. Hear the market feedback. Listen, what your customers will actually want. Because I do feel like as an entrepreneur, we are good at building things in a really agile way. We can build things fast. So don't try to spend too much time on building one thing that you think is good, because on the other side, you are not the user. You're not the true user in a lot of sense. Most of the time, you're not the true user. Yeah. So you probably don't really understand your customer pain point that much. Or we always see that some of my my friends, also in the field, they also feedback is that you probably build something that people want, but people that won't be paying for it. So there's a wide gap between it as well. So really, you by doing the MVP approach, you will be able to see if the people are willing to pay for it, if they want it, and if both things match, then it's the right product. Then you just keep on developing it. It's all good. So that's the first side. MVP approach. Don't try to spend too much time on one product. Second tip on the product development in particular, I would say is about the design thinking, the whole direction of the product. We, in the very first stage where we start our own product, we didn't do that at all. So we just think of, I need a web that can connect with cameras and get data. That's it. So the whole thing, when we have it all done, yes, it is functional. But after that, after we hear our customer feedbacks, we start to realize we actually need a positioning. We need to know how to position our product. We need to know where we want to go to. So that's all the story we come up, just now, all about, the BI stuff, the things that we want to go into. And after we have all this in mind, and after with this mindset to start building our product, the whole thing looks different. With this design thinking in our own mindset, we know how we need to build our own product. And that actually saves a lot of time and effort, because to be honest, the first version we built, we're basically not using it at all right now. So a lot of the effort back then that we built the first product, we waste a lot of time and resources. If we plan it well enough, we have the right design thinking in plan, we probably can recycle a lot of components and then we can use it afterward as well. So yeah, I would say design thinking, know that where a product wants to go into.
Don't you think that this part of developing something, iterating away is actually like part of the product development process, and actually nurture like your reflection, your state of mind, your way of thinking, just like doing things helps you to actually build the roadmap, build the vision, and compared to non-doing things, that just planning things, because obviously you're not a magician, so you cannot plan the future,
I agree. I agree in the fact that your session or your design thinking will keep growing, keep improving by time's go, when you hear more feedback, or when you keep on, going through one stage after one stage, after one milestone after one milestone. I agree with that. That probably my point. I would say is that the design thinking probably is not that micro. It's a bit more macro, for instance, there's a very simple example, using my own example, is that other AI company, their design thinking is that I want super B AI solution. My side is I want business-friendly AI solution, at least start with somewhere there, okay, I know I want some business-friendly AI solution. Then I will know I need to make a balance between cost and the accuracy, for example, something like that. So we start from there, and then throughout the whole product development, you will keep iterating, you will keep improving. You can fine tune your vision as well. You can even change your vision. I think it's all fine with it. We everybody perfect in the startup field, so we keep on changing. But the point is, when you start doing something, at least you know where you want to go to, where's the end goal, what you want to build, and then you try to go forward to that stage, planning, all the stuff. But don't go with I don't know what I want to do, I just do it first. So that's not
clarify a bit the vision, clarify the vision, and just choosing the direction, not really planning all the steps, but just clarify where you want to go. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So the third tip, let me think about it.
You can keep at 2 if you want to keep only 2.
I'll just keep it at 2 right now.
Okay. 2 very important one. So the last one is not important. Forget about it, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe to finish that podcast, like I've got like a funny game that I like to play with my guest. It's 2 truths, 1 lie. Can you give us 2 truths and 1 lie about the development or the team or like just your journey building data? And yet, do not tell us what's the truth. Do not tell us what's the lie. We'll let the people guess.
Okay. It has to be about the product development?
No, it can be about the company. Anything about the company and your journey building data.
Okay. Okay. So the first fact or lie, is that, okay, so it's a little bit background information first. So I'm a BBA student. I study business. So that's the background information. And the line is that I truly enjoy developing a tech product, a tech AI product.
Okay.
Myself, being involved in it.
Okay.
So that's the first one. Second one. Okay, me personally, I'm the CEO. I being quite heavily involved in every operation, and I'm also very heavily involved in the product development cycle.
Okay.
And last but not least, let me think about it. About the company, about the vision.
Can be about your co-founders, can be about your team, can be about your clients, about the product, anything.
All right. I would say from the very first day that I start this company, I am 100% confident that we are going to make it. Till now.
Make what?
I'm still 100% confident.
Make
it. Make this happen.
Make what?
This successful.
IPO.
Yeah, I hope IPO exit happen.
Okay.
Make our vision happen.
Okay. I've got the last one. Maybe I said that often, like 2 truths, 1 lie is my last question, but I've got the last one regarding the last fact that you gave. What's a bit your ambition with data? Where you want to go?
Yeah, so I would say, start with our vision. My vision is that, I would say my vision on the market is that I believe every retailers, every shopping mall owners, every physical space owner, they will need an analytic tool to help them to evaluate the offline space. It's just like how you have it all online. You have the Google Analytics, you have the Instagram like dashboard, Facebook dashboard that help you to understand your businesses. It should be the case for the offline spaces as well. So my vision is that every offline space owner will need something to help you. So my ambition is that, at least in the Asia, in the APAC area, data can be the one who provide these services to these people.
Okay. Interesting. And I think we can close that podcast on that. It's a very good point. Pretty sure you guys will go to IPO, exit, and build a very good company. Looks like you're well started for that. If you have anything to add, man, it's your time. You look to hire some people, you look to raise some cash, you look to anything you want to give, any news, anything, it's your time. Just go for it.
Sure. Happy news to share. We just closed our pre-series A round. So with reputable investors in all over the world. We have investors from the UK. We also have investors from Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and in Southeast Asia. So very resourceful network that help us to build the company forward. So we'll be doing the PR very soon because we literally just closed it like a few days ago. So we'll be in the publication soon. I guess this is the first publication or first news that we release.
Okay.
And with that fact, I would like to of course meet with retailers, meet with shopping mall owners, meet with anyone in this market that if they also agree with my vision, if they also feels like, you want to datafy your company, you want to, digital transform your company, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to schedule a call, to meet up, to go through, not in particular how we can help you, but maybe I can just go, talk with you, casually about, how AI, how the retail world will change. But of course, I'm definitely going to talk about the business as well, how our businesses can help you indeed, a little bit of sales. But that's something that I want to add, at the last of this.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man. It was great recording that podcast with you. And yes, thanks for your time again. And all the best for the next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for listening in. I really enjoyed recording this episode with Patrick because his journey highlights many things that makes a product outstanding, and how you build it as an entrepreneur. Especially in product development and entrepreneurship, you will just never know until you begin. And I think that's something you may have realized regarding the previous episode. So once Patrick and his co-founder released the first educational software, they could feel, what the market wanted, which was AI. And it helped them, to direct the future of their business and actually build data. And in building data, Patrick did not focus on making the product as complex as possible like his competitor, but rather what the business need in terms of retail data, what the shop owner need, and help them to understand what the data means. This is what makes data outstanding because it focuses on what matters to you as a shop owner, your experience, and how you can make some decision, make some better informed decision. And instead of focusing, on all the complex part, the shipping, the hardware and everything, Patrick said okay, we don't need any hardware. We're going to connect to the existing infrastructure, the existing camera, the existing CCTV. It's a very smart way, to get an unfair advantage compared to your competitors, because your competitors will ship some data. So it's extra cost and extra stuff. You don't use, as Patrick, don't use any extra hardware, you just connect to what is already here in the shop. So it's very, cost efficient. And you can also see that when you pivot, you need to get an insight from the market. But then after, when you go all in that direction. So when you do a pivot, it's very crucial to be all in, and so it's either you're in, either you're out, but you need to choose. Let me know what you guys think about this episode by giving me a rate and a review. That helps me to bring you better content every week. And also let me know if you want me to feature some guests, and guests that I will go behind the product with. So subscribe, stay tuned, and see you for the next episode.